only takes one person to have a sign-on, which is weird,
Right.
because it's...
But my understanding is that you can only transfer within the accounts that you have access to. Like, you can make it so that each account, because, I mean, and when I say my understanding, my own business experience, like, I had 4 businesses, so I would give the manager of this business access to this account, and the manager of this, they can't move money because there's only one account there.
Now, the treasurer, it's different because I can have access to everybody's account that's under a tax ID number, which I don't, because I don't want it at all. But if, let's say she was my signature on my account, she could go on under my account and get access to all those accounts, like even anything that anybody has. That's my only concern, because then it would make it look like I'm doing something that...
It would be nice to have, like, online view only access or something, so that you can go in there and look at the activity, but not have...
There's nothing in the online access about the commissioner or the auditor. There's a specific section 7, and it talks about having auditor to the treasurer's account, but it also specifies that it has to be done with permission of the treasurer, and it has to be done in the treasurer's office. So
that covers that. That's all I worry about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that online banking is necessary with
right, I don't see where it grants the auditor, grants the commission or the auditor any online access. And then it goes on to talk about the commission and county auditors shall have access to the clerk's and collector's accounts for the purpose of verifying account balances. The bank must be given permission from the clerk or collector to release a full account record being copied and or given to the commissioner or the auditor. So in other words, if I want to get that, I have to request it through the clerk or the collector. I can't get it myself. But in the online banking section, there's nothing that makes reference to the commission having, and you know, we'll have a discussion with Mr. Housley, but it's not like we're reinventing the wheel from scratch here. Like I say, they actually require, this is the original document they sent to me, and this is what they use, and this is passed an audit, so it's not like it's that far off the wall. The county treasurer's accounts for the county will be required to have 3 signatures, but the county treasurer and the county clerk or their facsimile stamp is 2, and one of the 3 county commissioners or their facsimile stamps. The treasurer's school account is required to have 2 signatures, one being the county treasurer or her designated person, the second being the county clerk or her designated person. Service account is done online through...
And you know, right now that's not the way, like, I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, I'm just saying, like, distributions, I don't have to wait to get the clerk's signature, I just send them out immediately. So I don't know if you want to put that wording in there, I mean...
Right, we have, I think the, and Mr. Housley and the banking people, you got to understand when they
I don't have a problem with it, I just want to make sure you know that
when they were putting the policy together, they had just been stung for $85,000.
Exactly.
And the consensus in talking to the commission in Christian County is that checks leaving the building with 1 signature is just I mean, even small church clubs require 2 signatures on their checks.
That's why Betsy did the PO system. And that's, I mean, I'm not saying that was right or wrong, but that's why they came up with the PO for the treasurer's fund and for that, so they get everybody's signature before a check left.
Right.
But that's just, I don't, it's whatever.
The bank doesn't know the PO got done though, so it's probably a good idea to have 2 signatures on it.
No, I don't have a problem with that, I just want you to be aware
We will,
that's what it's done now.
if you can, I mean, I'm not going to rush this document forward. We already missed the original deadline. If you can have a conversation with Mr. Housley, Leah, and kind of, you know, see what the reasoning was, and maybe report back to us why that is. Have I given you a copy of our proposal?
I believe so.
I think I gave you an electronic copy. I sent you an electronic copy of that. So, yeah, let's look into that, because that does represent some changes to the way we're doing things. But like I say, this is a security-oriented, let's make sure everybody's tail is covered type of arrangement. But if you can talk to Mr. Housley and get
Sure.
kind of a synopsis, you know, what their reasoning was. And he may be able to hook us up with some of the bankers that they talk to, and have them talk to our bankers, you know, get everybody satisfied with this.
And just for clarification, there's only one account that I sign on.
And that's the IOLTA thing through the state.
That's correct, and I'm the only allowed signatory. I don't know if they, I mean, you definitely have to be a licensed member of the bar.
Right.
But,
well, see, this talks about county accounts.
I was gonna say, because this isn't a county,
It's not
county funds, it's trust funds for individuals,
through
so.
the state, right. But talk to Mr. Housley if you would.
Okay.
Give us a briefing on what he has to say about that. Did Kim get you the information for the easement?
Yes.
We are proposing to go through and acquire some easement to widen some of these roads, but our form is horribly outdated. So if you can go to work on that. I have a pretty comprehensive set of notes on credit card policy, which I will put into legible form and get to you, and you and George can take a look at that so we can get a draft. I should have that ready for you by Wednesday.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, end of the week. And then I gave you the talking points for the questions to the Attorney General.
Yep.
Once you get those,
I actually sent a line over to Paige Bellamy last week, and on Thursday, I think, and asked him what the timeline would be. That we had a variety of questions, and asked him, you know, if he was able to still do that, what the timeline would be, and if not, who he could direct me to within the Attorney General's office. And I have not heard back from him, so
Okay.
I'll follow up with him again today.
but once you know, all of my garbled messages, once you're able to sort that out into plain English, make sure you send a copy over to Ms. Hagemeyer and let her weigh in on it.
Right, I spoke with her also, and so we were going to just get together and kind of go through it. We have to meet either Tuesday or Wednesday evening on another matter, so hopefully we'll have that done so that we can just sit down and hammer that out as well at that time.
Okay, have you spoken to Mr. Eisenstein at all? What's his availability for tomorrow afternoon?
He's trying to clear his calendar. I spoke with him this morning, and I told him 1:30, correct?
Yes.
And he was going to see if the secretary could clear his schedule so that he could be present.
Okay. Because if you can't, we will either have to declare which I don't see that it needs to, if you can't make it this Tuesday, we'll just go for next Tuesday.
Okay.
And hopefully,
Technically, he can meet with you at any time on legal issues.
true. I would like to, hopefully between, if he does come tomorrow at 1:30, if you can kind of sort through everything that we're going to propose to the AG to get his opinion on that as well.
Okay.
You know, so we kind of have formulated, so we're not talking off the cuff to him, so we are specifically lining out what our questions are so we can get these answered. Okay, looking through my notes here. I think that is all I have for you. You guys have anything else for Leah? Do you have anything else for me?
Just a reminder that our bake sale is today over at the court or the Justice Center for the deputy that was in the bad car accident. Any support you guys could give or send somebody over. There's a ton of things over there, and so it'd be great as much as it's a law day, so we've got a lot of traffic over there, but.
When is it again?
Just today, all day.
One of the commissioners is diabetic. One of the commissioners really likes sweets.
You can always get it and bring it back to the office.
Yes.
Yes. One thing that I wanted to mention and make sure that you guys didn't have any opposition to it. Lincoln County has never impaneled a grand jury, and I'm very interested in impaneling a grand jury here and having grand jury indictments in our county for the first time. I'm going down to meet with Jack Vanis this week, and then on the 18th again, and then on the 19th they have a grand jury that's sitting in St. Charles County. The rules, I believe, provide that the commission would have to approve it. I've spoken with our judges, and they're in favor of it. They'd like to learn more about it. But specifically in our county, I would like grand jury impaneled for the purposes of child molestation cases or cases where a child is a victim. What it does is it precludes the child from having to take the stand in the preliminary stages of a hearing, or of a trial. And so the grand jury would then indict instead of what we do now. We go through, preliminary hearing. We go through what's called a 491 hearing. We go through several types of hearings where the child has to continually be re-victimized. What it also does is it gives us not as favorable dispositions of those cases, because then the defendant gets to see how well your victim, if you will, does when put under pressure on the stand. So the statistics show overwhelmingly that counties that impanel grand juries for the purposes of those types of cases specifically have a higher success rate on dispositions, because the defendant is then more likely to take a plea and go to prison rather than put a child through all of the court proceedings that are required in order to get to trial. So once I get a little more information, I'll have the rules and the laws for you. But I just kind of like a feeling as to whether or not you would be supportive of impaneling a grand jury here or not. And certainly you don't have to tell me now, but generally a grand jury will sit for 6 months at a time. They're roughly, we would have 20 impaneled, and then they kind of pick which ones, we only have to have 12 to sit at a time. Our county is small enough case-wise on specific case types that we would probably only have them sit once a month. So in St. Charles County they do twice a month, but you have, you just back them up 15 minutes at a time basically. So that's something that I'd like for you to consider, and then when I get back from St. Charles County, kind of give me your thoughts and your support.
It would take some time to get that up and operational. We would be able to put our finger on what type of budget allowances we would have to make to accommodate something like this.
Correct, but I don't believe that, I think from a budgetary perspective, what it is now.
Sure.
My goal is to have one impaneled by January 1st.
Okay.
So, like I said, we've had some opposition evidently over the years of the different, whoever the presiding judges were. Currently, our judges are very supportive of it because of the number of cases that we run through, and they see the pitfalls. Sure. Another type of case that would be really good for this sort of situation is we had recently a situation where we had 5 defendants, all relatively young, 19, 20 years old, and they did what's called car hopping, car to car to car, breaking into cars, stealing things. So I had 50 victims, right at 51, I think. So in order for me to proceed on each count, I have to bring every victim in to testify as to their. So I have 5 preliminary hearings, all of which take hours, and each victim has to come in and tell their story. A grand jury would